Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Srinivasa Biology Tutorials. This section to discuss the biological classification part 6. In this video to discuss the kingdom plant. Kingdom plant. See, the kingdom plant. The kingdom plant includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll contain organisms commonly called as plants. In this plant kingdom has in what? Including all chlorophyll pigments contain organisms. They are commonly called as any plants. A few members they are partially the heterotrophic, such as in that insectivorous plants or parasitic plants. When you see some members like as any the Nepenthes and Diona, these plants are completely they are heterotropous organisms. Yes. Now here they given as in some insectivorous plants or parasite plants like as in the bladderwood and Venus fly trap are examples of the insectivorous plants. And here they given as in a Cuscuta is any parasite. Here the plant cells have in the eukaryotic structure which is in a complement the chloroplast, and the cell wall is mainly made up of as in a cellulose. In this eukaryotic cells their cell wall is made up of completely in a cellulose. And you are studying the eukaryotic cells, the structure, the detail in the chapter 8. In this total information to completely to discuss in chapter 8. And this plantae that includes as any algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. This plantae to completely to explain about as any their plantae. Plants including is what? Algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now the life cycles of plant has two distinct phases as present. In this plant life cycle they are having as in a two distinct phases. One is in a diploid sporophytic and haploid gametophyte. One is diploid, another is in a haploid. Diploid is sporophyte, haploid is gametophyte. And these are alternate with each and other the length and their haploid and diploid phases, where their phases has in the free living that depending upon the other. So first they comes as in a gametophyte, other sporophyte. It is in an alternate generation will be there present. Where among the different the group of plants, this phenomenon is called as an alternation generations. Means just before I say what, first is a completely the gametophyte, sporophyte, gametophyte, sporophyte. This is the alternate genesis will be that takes place. Okay, you must study that further details about the kingdom chapter 3. In this chapter 3 they have completely total information is present that we discuss in the chapter. Next, kingdom animalia. Kingdom animalia. See in this kingdom animalia, this chapter this kingdom is characterized by as heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms, the multicellular and their lack of cell walls. Mostly in that animal groups, their absence of the cell walls, and they are directly or indirectly to depends upon the plants for their food. The animals to complete their depends upon the plant for their food, and they digest their food. Their internal the cavity that store the food reserved as in a glycogen or fats. When the to completely food will be the digest, then to store in the form of as in a completely glycogen and then fats. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic and ingestion of food. They complete their holozoic and ingestion of the food, and they follow their define the growth of pattern and grow in adults. They have is different shape in higher forms, elaborate as in a sensory and in neuromotor mechanisms. In the higher organisms, they having as a neuron system and nervous system, and everything is well developed. The most of these are in capable for as a locomotion. They get move for one region to another region. Next, the sexual reproduction is a copulation of male and female followed by as an embryological development. The fusion of male and female gametes to get form as zygote, and this type of embryological development is takes place. The silent features of various phyla are described in chapter 4. In the chapter 4, completely we have in a some information is present to discuss in there. Okay, these are the completely in a cellular organisms. Now, after this 5 kingdom classification, here RHP taker is not explained about as any some non-cellular organisms. They are virus, viroids, prions, and lichens. What is there once we discuss here? Here, these are completely deleted for as according to NCERT. Yeah, first the viruses. In these viruses, see in this viruses 5 kingdom classification, RHP taker is not mentioned. For the about as any the lichens and some of the acellular organisms like viruses, virids, prions. These are the briefly the introduced here. I'm also to brief explain here only. Now, all of these having suffered their life effect. Common cold flu is known what their effects of virus have us. The most of these are completely to get causes as a different common cold, flu, everything. And even if you do not associated with our their conditions, viruses do not find place the classification since they are not considered as any true living. Almost they are viruses they completely change as in their different morphological changes. So hence we are not completely placed as in a true living. Now, when understanding that living, those are the organisms that have in the cell structure, and viruses is a non-cellular organisms, and they're characterized by having as in the inner crystalline structures outline of the living cell. These have no particular, their structure is present. Hence, we are completely having as in a crystalline forms. They given as in clearly here. One is in the TMV, tobacco mosaic virus. They given, and here the T4 even bacteriophages also to get provided. It is in a TMV, and that is in a completely tobacco mosaic virus. It is in a bacteriophages. Next. Here, once they are infect their cells that take over the machinery, the host cell to replicate themselves, they killing the host. If in case any that bacteria to get causes to as in a host cell to get completely to get kill the host cell, to get kill the host cell, and that would be called viruses is non-living. Viruses means venom, poisonous fluid. Here viruses means what? Venom or poisonous fluid. It is an Dimitri Ivanovsky in 1892 recognized as in certain microbes, their casual organisms, their mosaic disease by the tobacco. Here the Dimitri Ivanovsky in 1892 recognized as in some small the virus is noticed on the mosaic disease and the tobacco. We are found that in smaller than the bacteria because they are processed through the bacteria proof filtrates. He even noticed as in a proof filtrates. And after M.W. Bejerang in 1898, the demonstrated as in that extract for the infected plants of the tobacco could be caused as an infection. The healthy plants could be named as a new pathogen, that is in a virus, and it is called fluid, that is in a that continuum vivum fluidum infective living fluid. He was noticed as a one infective plant completely placed as a non-infected plant. Automatically that non-infected plant also they are caused as a disease because they are having as a one fluid that get released, that is in a continuum vivum fluidum. It is in a infective of the living. Next, after W.M. Stanley in 1935 showed by as in a viruses could be having as in a crystallized or crystals consist as in a largely of the proteins. You notice as in a the mostly viruses has in a the crystallized forms, and they are in a inside their outside they are in a the specific host cell. The viruses are obligate parasites. Mostly they are viruses, they get acting as in a obligate parasites. Now, after in the addition there to proteins, in the addition of the proteins, viruses also contain as a genetic material that could be either in a RNA or DNA. Mostly the genetic material consists either in a DNA or RNA. No virus consists as in a both DNA and RNA. No virus has in a contain both DNA or RNA. Virus is in a nucleoproteins as genetic material infection. In the genetic viruses, the infected the plant has in a single stranded RNA. Mostly the plants caused by any viruses is have only single stranded RNA. Single stranded RNA is present, and then this virus is infected by animals either in the single stranded or double stranded RNA or double stranded DNA is present. Animals has in what? They are single or double stranded RNA or in a double stranded DNA is present. Now bacteria, viruses, bacteriophages, that virus infected as a bacteria, that usually double stranded DNA or virus is present. Now here any bacteria that are caused as in that viruses, that is called as what? That is completely called as any bacteriophages. bacteriophages. These are called as in bacteriophages. It is also considered as what? The DNA is present. The protein code is called as in a capsid. It is a protein code is called as what? That is in a capsid. The small subunits is called as in a caspomeres. The proteins, they are nucleic acid, and the caspomeres are then arranged as in a helical in a polyhedral some genomic forms. They are mostly, you see that in a members of the TMV to form as in the capsids or the capsomeres to get forms. Okay, and the viruses cause diseases, the mumps, smallpox, and herpes and influenza. These are the viruses caused as in diseases. And then AIDS. Humans also, they're caused as in the virus, and that plants, the symptoms, they can be their mosaic formation, leaf rotting, and the curling and yellowing, and veins, the clearing, the drawing, and their stunted growth. When they are virus caused as, automatically this disease will be their forms. Next, viroids. In these viroids, mostly in 1971, the scientist was Divochina, they discovered the newly infective agents was in a smaller, the viruses that caused the potato spindle tuber virus, that is in a PSTV. Caused as in a, the virus is PSTV. Now, it was found in the free RNA. It consists of as what? Only free RNA. The lack of proteins, the code that mostly they are found in virus, hence the named as in a viroids. They are mostly having as a protein code, hence we are called as in a viroids. The virus, the RNA of the viroids was low molecular weight. The viroids almost has in a low molecular weight is present. Next one more, that is prions. In that moderate, the medicine, certain the infection, the neurological diseases, we are found in that in transmitted, the agent consists of in a abnormal folded protein. Here some neuron diseases will be appearing. In this neural diseases, the transmitted by agent is what? That is in a completely that abnormal folded diseases will be coming because of prions. These are agents was in similar size in virus. These are then completely similar to the viruses. And these are agents is called as in a prions. These most notable diseases caused by as in a prions by in a bovine, they are a spongiform that encephalophyte. That is in called as in a BSE. That is in a BS means bovine spongiform encephalophyte. It is commonly called as in a mad cow disease in cattle and analogs by as in a some variant, the CR Jacob disease, that is in a CJD in humans. They caused as in a CR Jacob disease. These are then completely prions. Next one is lichens. Lichens are then symbiotic associated with as in a, the manually useful to as in a associations between as in a algal and fungi. Here algae and then fungi to get fused to get forms as in a the lichens. Next, here mostly algal component they are combined with as any lichens. It is called as any phycobian. It is called as what? Phycobian. And fungal component of lichens is called as any mycobian. Here fungal component of lichens are called as any mycobian, which are the autotrophic and heterotrophic respectively. Either any autotroph or heterotroph. Algae, they prepare their own food material, fungi, and to provide for shelter, to absorption of mineral nutrients and water for their partner. So they are completely their symbiotic association. And so this closely their association with as any one of the RNA. So the lichens, the natural in one word, and they were imagined that they are have to as two different organisms within them. They both are completely they are present, then only they are completely the system will be there survive. The lichens are very good pollinator indicators. They do not grow in their polluted areas. They are mostly they are in a good polluted indicator. These lichens are not growing in a polluted areas. Okay, na? These are the completely non-cellular organelles in the chapter. So completely this biological classification is complete. Thank you for watching. Thank you.